The Louie Tee Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me. Commanders win their final regular season game of the 2025-26 regular season, 24-17 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Commanders finished the season at 5-12. Finished with a record of 3-3 within the division, and also finished with the 7th pick overall in the 2026 NFL Draft. Pretty disappointing end to the season from that standpoint, but depending on who you ask, beating the Eagles. And I will say, if there is a silver lining, and I know this silver lining might not be the best silver lining, but it is a silver lining nonetheless, because we could have just won and there could have been no gratification attached to it. I do take solace in knowing that the Eagles now have to go on the road should they win in Wild Card Weekend, assuming there are no major upsets that allow them to stay at home the following week. Right? The Bears did not look good today, so that could easily happen. The Bears could lose next week, and the Eagles could still be at home in the divisional round, assuming they beat the San Francisco 49ers. But that's nor here nor there. Eagles didn't think highly enough of the second seed in the NFC playoffs to play their starters. Instead, decided to rest pretty much all of their offensive talent. Played a lot of their defensive starters early in the game, but by the second quarter, midway through the second half, those guys were on the bench, and it got ugly. They committed more penalties and more penalty yards than I think the Commanders might have had passing in the entirety of the game. Okay. That's basically what allowed them to score the points that they scored, was all the penalties that the Eagles had in the secondary. They couldn't cover Terry McLaurin without tackling him, basically. Traylon Burks, etc. It was nasty in the Eagles secondary. Mac McWilliams, Keely Ringo, Lord have mercy, save us all. But ultimately, we can't have nice things, right? Dan Quinn will be excited and elated at the press conference after this game. He'll talk about the brotherhood, and he'll talk about, how trying of a season it was, but what a way to finish it. We talked about forcing turnovers, and his favorite son, his favorite adopted son, Jeremy Reeves, forced a turnover, which he didn't do anything. The ball was thrown right to him. Oh, by the way, Tanner McKee stinks. I don't want to hear any Eagles fans talk to us about Tanner McKee again. As a matter of fact, at one point I was like, man, we got to get this kid out of here. He might be really good as a backup. No, he can stay. He can stay. Tanner McKee's an immobile, inaccurate, garbage can backup quarterback. He can stay right there in Philadelphia as Jalen Hurts' backup quarterback, because he was ass-tastic today. And maybe if he's playing with the likes of A.J. Brown and Smitty, he'll look a lot better. Maybe that's the case. But guys were open. Doesn't really matter who the hell you're playing with. And if he's in practice, he's not throwing to AJ and Smitty and Dallas Goedert. He's throwing to Grant Calcaterra and Cooper and Kylan Granson. Those are the guys he's throwing to, and he was off. And, the part that sucks about this whole thing with the Commanders winning this game isn't that they're going to have the 7th pick in the draft, because the difference between 5 and 7, I won't say it's minimal, because there's to me a major difference between 5 and 7 in the draft, right? You're talking the difference between a guy being there and a guy not being there. It's a big enough difference. But that's not the reason that this sucks. The reason that's part of why this sucks. Okay. It's the biggest reason why this sucks. But let's remove that from the equation, because we can hammer that home all night long. It's not going to change anything. The thing that sucks is that none of this is transferable. Nothing that happened in this game gets you excited. Bill didn't have a good game. Johnny Newton was invisible again. Jordan McGee was non-existent. You got nothing from Drake Jackson. Ben Sinnott had 15 false start penalties. None of the young guys did anything good that makes you say, okay, he finished this season with a bang. We can carry this momentum over into next year. This guy's going to be a player for us. They weren't the reasons we won this game. At least when you beat the Giants, you could point to the young guys and say, hey, they were the reason why we won this game. Even when you lost to Dallas last week, you could say, you know what? It wasn't a win, but it was a productive loss, and the young guys carried the loss and kept it competitive. It was Josh Johnson. It was Daron Payne. It was Terry McLaurin. You know, and not that you don't want Terry out there balling, but, you know, he didn't really catch the football today. It was more of him drawing pass interference penalties because they couldn't cover him, which is what he's supposed to do against backup corners, make them look like backups. But it wasn't any of the young guys. The young guys didn't stand out in this game. They did come out healthy, which was one of my key components in this game was, hey, 3 things is all I asked them to do in this game. 1, come out healthy. 2, young guys, shine. 3, lose the game. 2 out of those 3 things didn't happen. Even in a win, you feel empty. In a season where nothing went right, it's only fitting that they end the season in reverse order by winning a meaningless game that doesn't help them, doesn't add any nutritional value to the offseason, instead detracts from it. But they're going to be excited. They're going to tell you that this is what the brotherhood is all about. I wouldn't rather fight with a bunch of guys and do hard shit with this group of guys right here than anybody else. And half of these guys aren't even going to be here next year. That's why this sucks. And the guys that are going to be here, they really didn't contribute to winning today, for the most part. So I hate to sound doom and gloom. I hate to sound bitter, but they couldn't let us have this one thing, could they? You effed up everything this year. This was supposed to be a year of gloriousness and a year of putting the demons behind us and a year of celebrating us being relevant for good. This was supposed to be a year of fulfilling expectations. There were supposed to be so many things we were supposed to do this year, and you did none of it. And the one time we try to feel good about something, the one time we say, you know what? All of this damn losing that we've done this season didn't go in vain. The Giants don't know how to tank properly. They give us the opportunity. They throw us the oop. The Browns say, you know what? Myles Garrett's, historic sack isn't going to go in vain. We're going to win too. We couldn't just let them throw us the oop and dunk it home, could we? No, we couldn't. We had to go and give us one final kick in the nuts. Because they said, you can't have nice things this year. Typical Commanders in 2025. I don't even know if I don't think I'm going to partake in any of the post-game, festivities. I don't even know if I want to watch Hard Knocks. I don't really feel like I am in the festive, celebratory mood. I don't want to hear about the brotherhood today. I don't want to see Dan Quinn smiling from ear to ear about a meaningless win in week 18 against a team that treated this game like a preseason contest. I'm not really in the mood to hear guys giddy about beating the Eagles to get to 5 wins, staying out of the cellar of the NFC East, with Josh Johnson at quarterback. Had Jaden Daniels been the quarterback today, I'd been all for all of this shit. Not Josh Johnson. I don't give a shit about Josh Johnson. But you got to admit, it's the fitting, most perfect way to end 2025-26 regular season. because they never did the thing that they were supposed to do this season. So at a time when the 5th pick, a top 5 pick, was sitting there staring us in the face, of course we would do the opposite, right? So 2025 Commanders. We did all the things that we always have done this season to lose games. You fumbled 3 times. You got 2 of them back. You turned the ball over. You had penalties. But the Eagles, they one-upped us tonight. Tanner McKee was awful. They had more penalties for more yards. They made the critical mistakes and errors. They threw the bad back-breaking pick in the red zone. Hell, we even missed a chip shot field goal from 24 yards out. We did everything in our power to make sure that we remained a 4-win team. And the Eagles simply said, nah. You go ahead and win that 5th game. Like I said, if there is a silver lining in all of this, Derrick Henry's, I'm about to say, he's gone on the first play. If there is a silver lining in all of this, is that the Eagles won't get the 2 seed in the NFC playoffs because the Bears were selling tonight. And if we didn't do what the Bears did for us last year, we had to return the favor for the Bears. We didn't return the favor and beat Philadelphia. The Bears would be the 3 seed right now. The Eagles would be the 2 seed. And how dare they get rewarded for punting on this final game? You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Oh my God, is that run coming back? Wow. Unbelievable. I guess I'll be here with you guys for the vast majority of this first half, I'm going to assume. It's crazy. They called an illegal block. So where did this take place? Is the whole run coming back or? Okay, so it's probably down the field. Did he block Cam Hayward? No. Where is his block at? Okay, so it's at the end of the run. That's a soft call. I hate it. But that got Cam Hayward hurt, and he didn't need to do it. He didn't need to do it. Anyway. So, yeah, really disappointed in the team winning tonight, but it is what it is. So the Commanders do what everybody else in the division did and beat the Eagles. So Commanders finished the season at 3-3 in the division, 5-12 on the season, the inverse of what they did last year. And now off to the offseason they go. A lot of questions to be answered. Can somebody tell me what Jaden Daniels' mom did on social media? Rio was telling me she did something. I'm not really on social media anymore, like talking about. So I wouldn't really be able to tell you what she did or what she said. I can't imagine it's that egregious. Like none of this stuff gets me worked up, but I digress. This is going to be a really good game. We're going to get to, if you watch the Commanders King stream, and, we talked about the game. We were live during the game. So I'll have a lot for you. It was a week 18 game that felt like a preseason contest. Just really disappointed that they won. And then, two, there really weren't any good performances by the young guys. Drake Jackson and Johnny Newton were invisible. Ben Sinnott had 15 false start penalties. He loves to false start in the red zone. That's a problem. Bill was ordinary people today. There were no standout. Jordan McGee missed a tackle. Like we really weren't dynamic with our young guys today. So really disappointed in the win and the way that they got it. And again, the 5th pick would have been nice. 7th pick isn't a death sentence or anything like that. So I don't want to be over dramatic, but I am definitely disappointed at the way that this season ended, but I'm just glad it's over. I'm just glad it's over. So, I digress. Let's get to a word from our sponsor, come back on the other side, and we will see what you guys have to say in the comment section. Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper. All right, so let's get to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. We start with CGM 87. So are they really going for it on this fourth down? Or are they trying to draw them all sides? They actually going for it on this fourth down. And he got him. Touchdown. Ravens opening possession. Quantez Walker, touchdown. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens strike first. I really believe the Ravens are going to win. This is one of the weirdest rivalries in the NFL because neither team respects the other's house. I can't think of another rivalry that exists where the other team goes into the opposing team's house and wins more than Ravens Steelers. Like every year it feels like you're more likely to see the Steelers win in Baltimore and the Ravens win in Pittsburgh than them winning at home, right? It's just crazy how this rivalry has gone over the years. They're off to a great start, but it's not how it starts, it's how it finishes. But I really see the Ravens getting in. And I still don't love the Ravens, how they've played this season. But if they get into the tournament, they could be really dangerous. And this could be the year. Like, there isn't anybody really stopping you from going all the way if you're Lamar Jackson. Wouldn't it be fitting in the year where he's been banged up, far from his MVP status, he gets in, and this is the year that he finally puts it together, instead of one of those years where he was dynamite, won the MVP, and you're thinking he's going to kill it in the postseason, and he doesn't? It would be so fitting if that were the case. But anyway, I digress. CGM87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CGM87 writes, I'd like to see Marcus and Debo back. I'd bring Bobby back only if cheap in a limited role, but that's the thing. You can't bring Bobby back in a limited role. Bobby's not agreeing to come back in a limited role. If you're not starting Bobby, if they could barely take Bobby off the field this year without him getting pissed off. You think Bobby's going to come back and sit on the bench? That's not who Bobby is. There's no limited role for Bobby Wagner. Either he's your starting Mike and he's playing 100% of the snaps every week, or he's not on your team. But you can't have Bobby Wagner and have him be first and second downs only. That's not how Bobby Wagner operates. That's not how they operate. Get young and fast on defense and overhaul. No more aged out vets. I can definitely see a scenario this year where the aging veterans are at a minimum. They're going to bring back some older guys, but I don't think you're going to see the same cast of characters brought in here like last year. Again, last year's offseason was a totally different set of circumstances. They thought they were something that they clearly were not. So they were going for it. This year, they understand who they are. And I don't anticipate them bringing in a bunch of aging veterans. But like I said, I've said this a million times. I'm going to continue to say it. This is a big offseason for Adam Peters because we will finally get a real sense of who he is as a general manager, right? As far as bringing Marcus and Debo back, I'm big on bringing Marcus back. Debo, jury's still out. If they brought him back, I wouldn't be upset. But I am definitely not all in on Debo being back. Voices of Martians. Been a member for 5 months. Really appreciate you. Who writes, I'm glad we beat the Eagles. F them always. And you're totally entitled to that feeling. I hate the Eagles just as much as the next man. I'm glad that they're not going to be the number 2 seed, but that could have been accomplished by the Bears simply winning, right? Two things could have been totally true today, but in order for that to happen, we had to win. So I am glad that they're not the 2 seed, but I would have, to hell with them being the 2 seed, I would have much rather had the 5th pick. I don't care about the Eagles that much that I want them, that I'm willing to affect what we got going on to try to, hurt our situation to try to make sure that they don't do something. To hell with them. But ultimately, I'm glad we did beat them because everybody else did. But everybody else has a legitimate win over them. Ours, like, you can't even talk shit with this. Like, they don't respect this loss. I don't respect this win. All it did was ensure that the Eagles didn't have like a 3-game win streak over us if you count the playoffs. But I don't care anything about that. I'd much rather had the 5th pick in the draft, to be honest with you. So, Reedy Davis, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Reedy Davis. How did he get that in there? Right. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. LT had a bet beginning of the year that Cowgirls, Eagles, and Giants fan, $50 a game. Glad for the win. Oh, so you had a bet with them. You broke even basically because we went 3-3 in the division. So good for you. I always say, if you're gonna lose, don't lose in vain, right? Like, this is a loss. It's a win, but it's a loss. But with them winning, you actually won. So again, find a way to make it productive, whatever it looks like. Okay? Find a way to make it productive. And that's what you did. So shout out to you. John Perez, my guy. JP, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, worst effing win of the year. yeah, it was. This does nothing for the damn culture or program. From 5th to 7th, can't even tank right. Can't wait until this ass-white head coach Ronald Rivera Jr. is gone after 2026. I'm not wishing that on him. Although, look, his job is to win football games. That's all his job is to do. And had he lost this game, had he lost to the Giants earlier this season, he could have potentially been fired. We don't know his security. He's safe now. But had he lost 13 straight to finish up the season like we had talked about, would he have been safe? There's no guarantees he would have been safe. So, or 12 straight. It would have been 12 straight to finish the season. There's no telling if he would have been safe. His job is to win football games. They did that today. We hated his fans, but, again, that's their job. Their job is to win football games, not lose them. We just wanted them to lose because that's what they've done best all season long. But week 18 isn't a real week. Up top, pick. Ooh, had a chance. Week 18 isn't a real week, man. So all of the, what we've seen from this team all season long isn't surprising. Raheem Morris fired. So, breaking news from Jordan Schultz. The Atlanta Falcons are firing Raheem Morris. Damn. Chitlin circuit. They couldn't even let the brother get a good night's rest. He just beat the Saints in a big game today. Couldn't even let that man enjoy that. Sheesh. Well, that might be our new defensive coordinator, which would not make me happy and warm and fuzzy. But he definitely strikes me as a DQ type guy if they were going to bring one in here. So be on the lookout for that. Yikes. All right. So no, and remember, JP, they're not tanking. That's a fan thing. That's not a players and coaches thing. They're not tanking. So keep that in mind. The Cruise in 26. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Cruise in 26 writes, I would have really hated if you guys were drafting before us. Bad enough that we lost out on the #1 pick, and of course the Raiders lost. Shaking my head. I really wanted to be drafting ahead of you. The good thing is what we need and what you need aren't the same thing. You don't need an edge rusher, although you could take one. You don't need a safety, although you could take one. Those are the positions that tickle our fancy, and I don't really anticipate us having swimming in the same pool, if you will, talent pool. So you being in front of us isn't as big of a worry, but I still would have liked to have been ahead of you. Okay, so I see what everybody is talking about with Jay. This is harmless. I mean, is she breaking news? So this is the Mrs. Jackson, Jaden's mom, on X. The Commanders tweeted out, starting 2026 on the right foot as with the win. Josh Johnson got 24-17. And then she quotes the picture and the tweet from the Commanders, and she writes, heading in the right direction. Let's go. Exclamation point, exclamation point. Officially loading JD5/Cliff Kingsbury, or KK, Cliff Kingsbury, season 3. Hashtag raise hell, hashtag HTTC, hashtag HTTR. That's harmless. Like, if you're upset about that, if you're bent out of shape about her doing that, then that says more about you than her. Like, again, that Diana Rossini report was a rumor. We don't know if there was any validity to it whatsoever. And her putting that out there might be, her basically saying that shit that y'all heard about Cliff was bullshit. And I'm just going to make sure y'all know that it was bullshit. And Cliff isn't going anywhere. And I didn't think he was going anywhere anyway. And I told y'all that yesterday when we had the discussion. I said, I'll be shocked if Cliff is fired or relieved of his duties. I'll be shocked. It's not impossible that it happens, but I'll be shocked. And I actually prefer that Jaden and Cliff link up for year 3. I actually would like to see that. Continuity is key. You would much rather have guys that are, more familiar with each other than not. I don't want constant change. We've done that for well over 2 decades. I want continuity. So that tweet doesn't move me. But anyway, cruising. I wanted to pick ahead of you guys. That would have made my day. But we didn't finish the job. We didn't finish the job. Tyrone Malone, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Tyrone Malone writes, Jordan Tyson will be there at 7. Chill out, y'all. Again, I'm not in the business of drafting a wide receiver in the first round and with the top 7 pick this year, with all the needs that we have defensively. I haven't watched him though, and I might watch him and be like, oh shit, this guy. So I can't say what I would or wouldn't do. I just know who I have watched, and I know what we do need, and I'm convinced that those 2 guys in particular would fit the bill. So I've got a lot of work to do. You guys are light years ahead of me in the scouting department, so I got to play catch up. Woo! Lamar out here trying to give it away. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. who writes, wouldn't be shocked one bit if we sucked in 2026 and ended up with Jeremiah Smith in the Jeremiah Smith sweepstakes. Fans should have zero expectations for next year. And that might be the best way for you to cope, is to go in with lowered expectations. That's okay if that's how you want to play. That's not how I'm going to choose to operate. If we didn't have Jaden Daniels, I probably would be in that boat. But because we got a quarterback, come on, Lamar, you can't miss that throw, brother. Because we have 5, if he's healthy, you can't tell me that we don't have a shot to go do damage. So you don't have to believe in this staff. You don't have to believe in what they did in 2024. You can think that that was a fluke and a mirage. We'll see what it looks like. You don't have to believe in Adam Peters. You don't have to believe in Dan Quinn. They're going to have to show us this season going the way that it did. That was the benefit of the doubt, right? You got the benefit of the doubt because of what you did in 2024. You don't get a benefit of the doubt in 2026. Now you got to show and prove. Nobody wants to hear any excuses. We don't want to hear about injuries. You got to configure a roster that's going to allow you to compete no matter what. So we'll see what they do. I don't think we'll be in the Jeremiah Smith sweepstakes next year. I'll just say that. I don't think we'll be in that sweepstakes. CJAT, been a member for 52 months. Celebrate! Who writes, take that, LB. Talk some trash. We're better. Just kidding. They don't care about this loss. They clearly showed that they didn't care about how they approach this game. They could care less. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, sickening. Eagles backups are our talent level. I wouldn't say that. Both teams were playing backups. We've been playing backups since October. We've been playing backups since October, bro. We had our 15th string quarterback in the game. Like, and to be honest with you, I thought the Eagles were going to dog walk us today because that was their legitimate backups. What is Lamar doing? That was their legitimate backups. That wasn't our legitimate backups. We don't have any backups. Our backups have been our starters since early November. The Eagles are supposed to be this deep team that I just expected their starters, backups, to come in and smoke our backups. We both were playing backups. It was a bona fide preseason game. The only starters we had out on the field that won us the game basically were our receivers. And it was really Terry that got about 18 pass interference penalties that he drew in the game and won by Treylon Burks. That was the only thing that really won us the game. I thought their backups would have been better than ours. Colin Talk Sports. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, difference between 5 and 7 shouldn't mean anything in getting Bailey because Giants and Browns shouldn't be taking edge. You don't know what anybody's going to do. You don't know if they're going to trade that pick to somebody else and allow them to jump in front of us to get him. That's the thing. You can't play that game. Just because they don't need it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't need it, right? Again, you don't want other people to have that kind of control or power. We gave that away when we won the game today. So while the Giants may not be in the market for a safety or an edge rusher, somebody else might be. While the Browns theoretically shouldn't be in the market for an edge, what tells you that they're not in the market for an edge to pair with Myles Garrett? What's stopping them from doing that? Do they have an elite edge going opposite of Myles Garrett? I can tell you the answer to that. No. You don't think they might want to add one? Look, they know their offense isn't great, but they can make their defense even stronger. So, like I said, I don't like to play that game. You don't know what teams are going to do. Worried about Arizona and Tennessee, though. And again, this is the position you put yourself in when you fall to 7, right? You have no idea what any of these teams are going to do. Wrath of God. Thank you for the super chat. But look, at the end of the day, let me just say this. We should get a good football player, damn good football player. If Adam Peters can't draft a blue chip player with the 7th pick in the draft, then we got the wrong man for the job anyway. Simple as that. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Wrath of God writes, second preseason game in a row. Glad this injury death angle season is over. What's your thoughts on giving TB or giving 13 another try? And who paid Ringo to put burgundy and gold on today? He was our best player. Yeah, Keely Ringo was definitely a double agent. He was definitely working for the Commanders today. Yeah, Traylon Burks is going to be back next year. We already talked about that. Traylon Burks is already on this roster next year. He's a member of this team next year for sure. He's more of a member of this team next year than Deebo Samuel is. That's happening. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. The Ravens they really just missed a golden opportunity on that possession. They really did. Swaggy P, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, usually I would be singing Cry Eagles Cry, but I'm good off that. Hopefully the Eagles go one and done. Fingers crossed. Need them on the couch next to us by Dr. Martin Luther King weekend. Thank God 2025 season is over. 26 can't be worse, right? One would think. I'm an optimist, so no, it can't be worse. Can't be worse. On to the offseason. Hashtag raise hell. Amen to that. Amen to that. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Oh, and I asked on X, what about Ruben Bain? He's a dog. But again, does that dog hunt at the NFL level? In college, you're going to get to watch him again. That's the beauty of him advancing in the college football playoffs, is you're going to get to watch Ruben Bain play again against the Ole Miss Rebels. So you're going to get to see Ruben Bain take the field once again. And I love watching guys actually play in games, and these are big games. So he looks the part. But again, short arms, his measurables don't check all the boxes. And I just don't know if I'm comfortable with drafting a guy that high that doesn't check the measurables boxes. That's a struggle for me. That's a struggle for me. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Yoshi writes, thought we saw the death of our franchise today. With the 7th pick, we are in Caleb Downs' range. I'm not interested in any edges other than the obvious. So instead, get yourself the surefire safety. But will Peters do that? Again, 7 is usually way too high for a safety. So I have to watch more of Caleb Downs. I've liked what I've seen thus far from him, but good stop. That's going to bring up a 4th down. Will they go for it? This doesn't feel like a Mike Tomlin roll of the dice. But with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron be convincing him to do shit that he wouldn't normally do. This is normally a punt for Mike Tomlin. But since they've been doing that little tush push shit with the tight end, Connor Hayward, they usually go for these now. But that's about 2 yards. He's short. He's short by about a full yard and some change. He's short. That was not close enough to do that stupid ass tush push. He's short. And he should have been able to see that. He should have been able to see that. He was too far for that shit. Tomlin, this is why they're going to lose. He going to get fired tonight, too. Mike Tomlin going to get fired tonight. They sick of his shit. He going to get fired tonight. That was a bad call. Anybody could see that they were too far for that shit. Way too. That was damn near 2 yards. I'm interested to see what Adam Peters does with this draft pick. We got all offseason to talk about it because there's so many different directions they could go in. It's hard for him to mess this pick up. But then again, we thought it was hard for him to mess up 3 second-round picks, and it looked like he effectively and successfully did that. So, or I think we had 2 second-round picks. He turned it into 3 and then effed it up. So, yeah, we'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Wrath of God writes, forgot to say from your boy where the polar bears roam. Well, you didn't forget because you came back and you said it. Derrick Henry is getting off tonight. He might have almost 100 yards in the first quarter. It's going to be that type of night. They're going to pay for that decision to go for it. They're giving up at least 3 points here. They give up a touchdown, they're in some big trouble because we know Pittsburgh ain't no big scoring team. HTTC. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, yo, F this team. Uh-oh. When we're emotionally invested in key games, i.e. important primetime games, you lose and embarrass us. We need you to lose and you win, clowns. Yeah, but that sums up this year, right? Like I said that at the top of the show. When we want them to win a game, when we need them to win a game, they come out flat. They look lethargic and disinterested, disoriented. And then when we want them to lose, but again, circumstances, because they still did all the shit that landed them at 4-12. We fumbled 3 times. We missed a chip shot field goal. We had penalties in the red zone. We did all the shit that landed us at 4-12 going into this game. They didn't change who they were. It's not like they played an exceptional game. The Eagles came down to our level because they punted on this game. If the Eagles played their starters, they would have beaten us in this game. So I'm not going to make this a Commanders thing. This is less about them, more about the Eagles basically giving us this game. Tanner McKee is if you want to point the blame somewhere, point it at Tanner McKee. That's who you should be blaming. He was awful today. Awful. Threw a bad interception right to Revo, missed open receivers throughout the day. That's who you should be pointing the finger at. The Falcons. So the Falcons clean the house. They fired their GM as well. So they didn't waste any time. We heard about 3 weeks ago to a month ago that major changes could be coming in Atlanta. I didn't expect them. After winning 4 straight to end the season, I did not anticipate the changes coming at all, let alone this swiftly. Yikes. Bear it down. And my guy BD, been a member for 52 months. Celebrate! Who writes, I ain't mad because I hate the Eagles. And that's, again, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm glad they didn't get the number 2 seed in the NFC, but I'd much rather have the 5th pick in the draft, I'm be honest with you. But, hey, it never hurts to beat the Philadelphia Eagles or any team in our division for that matter. But it did hurt today. But again, it's a it's a good consolation prize that they ended up the 3 seed. But they didn't care about the 3 seed or the 2 seed. They didn't care. If they did, they would have played their starters today. They clearly showed us what was important, and that was their team health heading into the postseason. Midnight Lace 2.0. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Midnight Lace writes, Lou, man, I don't know anymore. We had one job and we couldn't do that right. Again, I hear you. Really disappointed, as all of you are. But I think this is more on the Eagles than it is the Commanders. We did all the shit that we normally do, bro. I think we had less than 300 yards of total offense in this game. Josh Johnson fumbled, a play. We had 3 fumbles in the game. We missed a chip shot field goal. We had, buku penalties in the red zone. We did all of the shit that we normally do. The Eagles had 10 times as many penalties as we did. They threw a bad back-breaking pick. They did the things that we normally do. They missed open receivers. So, again, I don't think this is necessarily on us. It's more so on the Eagles. We just were able to take advantage of it because they had their C squad out there. So we was able to take advantage of it. Looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal. All points are necessary tonight. You can't go for it here. You got to take the points. Because you may be able to field goal to steal us to death tonight. So they're going to need Tyler Loop to be on his grind tonight. Because it could be one of those nights where you have to beat them up with 4 field goals and beat them 19-10 or some shit like that. That's how these Steelers-Ravens games be. Usually don't be high scoring and all of that. And it's good. All right, 10-0. So they paid for the risk on the 4th down. It doesn't pay off. Ravens turn that into 3 points. Now up 10-0. Early second quarter. I hear you, Midnight Lace. Like I said, I more so put that on Philadelphia than I do the Commanders. CGM 87. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Raheem fired. Don't do it, DQ. Don't you dare do it. Tell him again, CGM. Tell him again. Raheem is fired. Don't you do it. Don't you dare, DQ. It's him. Mega. What up, though? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy Megs writes, hey, Lou, F the football talk for a minute. I'm proud of you, Brody. Watch you glow up over the years, and I'm here to see you keep winning, bro. I'm an LTN lifer. Salute. Man, salute to you, man. You know what it is, fam, bro. I appreciate you, man. So thank you so much for the support. And I'm going to keep grinding, and all I ever ask is that y'all keep supporting. Man, you know what it is. It's all love, Megs. You know what it is, bro. So big shout out to you and yours, man. Happy New Year, too. The Cruising 26. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Jordan Tyson is the truth, but he seems injury prone. He's my favorite wide receiver. Giants want Caleb Downs, but I thought he was more of a box safety. He can be whatever you need him to be. I just figured you wouldn't do anything at safety, being that you spent the 2nd round pick on Tyler Nubin. You spent free agent dollars on Javon Holland. I just didn't think that you would be interested in adding another safety. I mean, how many resources are you going to continue to pour into the safety position, right? But, to each its own. You clearly need another receiver, but we'll see what the Giants decide to do. You say Giants fans want Caleb Downs. I just give you the reasons. Now, had you fired Joe Shane and brought in a new general manager, I could see a scenario in which you went with Downs and you moved on from, one of these safeties that you just brought in here. But Joe Shane signed Javon Holland to that big deal. Joe Shane drafted Tyler Nubin in the 2nd round. They're not giving up on those guys. I don't see that happening. So Caleb Downs can be whatever you want him to be. He doesn't. He can play in the box. He can play away from the line of scrimmage. He can play over the slot. He do a lot of things. And again, I got more work to do on him. I'm just telling you what I've seen in the small sample size. He can do everything. Thanks for Sion. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Smash Mouth always wins. It's a control game. Big return. Fire Cliff and get an old school OC. Use fullbacks. Jumbo. JD5 under center. Hire R. Morris as DC. Atlanta just fired him. I want nothing to do with Raheem Morris. Me and you have totally different visions of what this is supposed to look like. I always tell people it doesn't have to look the same. We all want the same. Okay. We don't all agree on what it looks like or how we get there, but we all want the same thing. Smash Mouth football is not dead, but it is not the main source of winning in this league. It does help if you do that this time of the year, but very few teams run quote unquote smash mouth football anymore. You got to be able to throw the football in today's NFL. And I don't love Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator. So we'll see what they decide to do. Take 2 times. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Dream offseason is Woolen, Tyreek Woolen from the Seahawks, Alec Pierce from the Indianapolis Colts, De'Ami Brown, draft Bailey, and Raheem or Schwartz as DC. If no Pierce, Jennings is a better Noah Brown, and maybe sign a tight end. The thing about it is a lot of these teams aren't going to allow their stuff to walk. Now, Alec Pierce, I think, is going to demand a pretty penny because he has an elite trait that is coveted league-wide. And we're not the only team that is in the market for a big play wide receiver. If I'm Adam Peters and he becomes available, like that is the absolute it is the absolute definition of what we need opposite of Terry McLaurin in terms of a vertical threat. Alec Pierce is the best vertical threat in the league right now. And so if the Colts somehow let him walk, which it's plausible because they've spent quite a few resources on the wide receiver position, including giving Michael Pittman Jr. A fresh deal just a couple of off seasons ago. They've spent resources on the position, but they also they traded away Adonai Mitchell. They have Josh Downs. Like they got stuff, but they could also keep Alec Pierce. So I could see Indy holding on to him. Woolen definitely interested in him. De'Ami. Jennings is a guy that I said I could see being here, but I also think Kyle Shanahan values Jennings a ton for what he does. So Jennings is exactly what we need. He's somewhat of a head case, right? Always getting in somebody's mix, always, on the cusp of picking up a personal foul penalty. He just plays with an edge. He's playing with broken ribs right now. He is the type of dog we need here in Washington. We don't. I don't know if that guy exists on this roster. So, dream offseason, a lot of the pieces that you have there would definitely be involved in a dream offseason, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what Adam Peters is going to do. I've said that a bunch. This is an offseason where we'll find out. We'll have a better understanding of who he really is as a general manager this year. Because it feels like if you're going to spend money, this would be the year to do it. Rodgers up top. Oh, my God, he missed. He ain't trying to win tonight. Base for Zion. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, fire Cliff, fire Joe Witt, hire Raheem Morris, hire any OC that is run heavy playbook, draft an edge, cut Sanders still, and many more. Get bigger in the trenches on the D-line, earth movers for smash mouth style, win the Super Bowl. Yeah, it's football just ain't played like that no more. And again, you've already told me your age just by how you want to go about business. Like, football just isn't played that way anymore. And like I said, there aren't very many teams who subscribe to this theory here. There are some teams that are capable of doing that, but you can't survive in the NFL doing that. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can survive. You can't thrive in the NFL doing that. This is a pass-first league now, whether you like it or not. You can win playing smash mouth football, but again, there are teams in this league that you just can't run against. And if that's who you are, if that's your identity and you can't really throw the football, you're going to struggle. Aaron, you got to make up your mind what you want to do, guy. You could have outran that big man and turned the corner. He was so scared. You can't run against Seattle. It's hard to run against Tampa. It's hard to run against some of these teams with these dynamic fronts. You don't have to worry about Joe Witt. I don't think they're going to fire him, but he's not the play caller. Cliff isn't going anywhere, I don't think. But we'll see. You never know. Nick Pittman, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Steelers are on the board. This is going to be a good game. 10-3, 57-yarder from Chris Boswell. That's big time. Cuts the deficit to 1 score. Nick Pittman writes, what's your biggest concern entering the offseason? The biggest concern is that I don't really know what to expect. That's my biggest concern. I'm not really overly concerned about one thing in particular. I'm someone that likes to know, or at least be able to draw inferences. I have no clue what's going to happen. So I guess my biggest concern would be the unknown. Are they going to hold on to some of these older guys? Are they going to bring a Bobby Wagner, a Von Miller back? Like I don't know. Are they going to spend money this offseason? Real money, not fake money, not out here on a bunch of one-year deals. Are they going to actually go out and get young, going into the prime of their career, free agents? Like, I don't know. That's my concern, is I don't know. It's not if we're going to go get an edge or a receiver. We got so many holes. Like, that stuff, what are we going to do is my concern. Are you going to hire a defensive coordinator? I don't know. The unknown is my biggest concern. We don't know what Adam Peters really is. The sample size is so skewed because the first year he came in and that felt like the real Adam Peters. The next year, we were in a position that they didn't anticipate. And so we got sort of a knee-jerk reaction to the season we just had. And I think he went a little bit away from who he really is. And so I'm not sure if what we saw last year in free agency or what we saw the first year, where they gave out multiple multi-year contracts to guys going into the prime of their careers, versus last year where there were minimal deals given to guys going into their prime of their careers on multi-year contracts, and a bunch of one-year aging veteran contracts were given out. So my biggest concern is the unknown. I don't know what's to become of this offseason. I don't know if DQ is going to be the play caller next year, if he's going to hire somebody. I don't know if Cliff Kingsbury is going to be back, although I feel like he's going to be back. According to Jaden Daniels' mom, he's going to be back. Mr. CBD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what do you think about Morris as defensive coordinator? I think I've made it clear that I'm good on him as the defensive coordinator. But again, I wouldn't lose my shit if he got the job. Like, I don't care enough if he's brought in here. I just feel like you could do better than him. Right? Just feel like you could do better than Raheem Morris. Feel like if you went out and got Raheem Morris, you're just settling. You're settling at the defensive coordinator. And that feels like what DQ would do if he did go get someone, is he would settle. He wouldn't go out here and go get somebody young. Like Al Harris would be going out of the box. God has never done it, because DQ just took a risk by bringing Joe Witt here. He took a risk on a guy that had never done it, and he gave him a chance, and it backfired and it blew up in his face. So DQ may say, I don't have a lot more opportunities to be giving guys who's never done it before opportunities. I'm going to have to probably get a known commodity in here. And so you're more likely to get a Raheem Morris. I'd much rather have Jim Schwartz. If again, assuming that he's not back in Cleveland, I'd rather have Jim Schwartz. But I think if DQ does go and hire someone outside of the building, it's going to be a known commodity. It won't be somebody that he's given an opportunity for their first time to be a play caller. Because I already did that and it didn't work. And if I do it again, it may cost me my job. So we'll see. I don't love him. To answer your question, I don't love Raheem Morris as a defensive coordinator. Didn't love him in LA with the Rams. He was all right in Tampa. When he was in Atlanta, they had him on. Like, one thing I can't say, Raheem Morris knows football. He's been a coach on both sides of the ball. Is he innovative enough? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. We'll see. He's available now. He's available. Drew, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Drew writes, Bailey or Bain at 7? Wide receiver Tate Tyson also in play. I got to watch more Carnell Tate. I'm not blown away by Carnell Tate. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm not blown away by Carnell Tate. Maybe it's just me. I got to watch more of him, though. Not making any definitive statements right now, but I'm just telling y'all I'm not super high on him right now. But I got a lot more film study to do, obviously. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wrath of God writes, what about Sadiq at 7? Dude is that guy. No, you're not drafting a tight end at 7. And furthermore, I don't think he's, we've seen top 10 tight ends before. He doesn't fit that bill. Like, you want to be a top 10 tight end, you got to be an athletic freak, basically, at the tight end position. I don't think that's what he is. Can he be really good in the league? Yeah, I think so. I liked all of those tight ends that I saw in that Oregon-Texas Tech game. But you're not spending the number 7 pick in the draft on the tight end. If we're talking about the same guy, I'm assuming. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. GT7 writes, 7 ain't too high for an elite safety. Downs got that Sean T energy. 7 is not too high for an elite safety. You're not wrong about that. The question is, Lamar, will he test well and be in that elite category when it's all said and done? I don't know if he's going to test well. You know what I mean? That's what I've been told. Again, I got to watch him. And he's not the tallest guy. He's not 6'2". You know what I mean? Like, Nick Amanawari lit it up last year. And he still ended up being a second-round pick. So, we'll see. We'll see about Caleb Downs. We'll see. And Nick Amanawari is like that. I don't know if you've watched him on Seattle's defense. That brother is, whew, yikes. And that's the prototypical safety body you're looking for, and the athleticism to match. Caleb Downs ain't that. But he might be a better football player. We'll see. But Nick Amanawari is really good. So, again, take two times. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, everybody on the Bane train, these playoffs had like 5 sacks the whole season. Give me Bailey 14 sacks. Has the body type. Give me Romello height too. Yeah. Look, Bane has been doubled and triple teamed all season long. It's been documented. So the numbers aren't there from a production standpoint. I'm a big production guy. But, you know, I've been told that the reason the production is down is because he sees the best from every team and, you know, double teams, triple teams, things of that nature. They're treating him like the only guy that can hurt them off, you know, from the other teams, from Miami's defensive line and front. That said, I'm a big production guy, but the production also has to match the talent, and I saw that with Bailey. So, and to your point, Romello height, I don't know where he ends up in the pantheon of edge rushers this year, but he looks good too. He looks really good too. He looks really, really good too. Drew, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Makai Lemon and his fit in DC has some wide receiver 2 plus wide receiver 2s. Free agents has plus some 5. I don't know. I don't think the wide receiver free agency class is great this year. Again, Pierce and Jennings might be among the best you can get. And again, there's no telling if those 2 guys even make it to free agency. There's no guarantee there, right? So Makai Lemon, I've been hearing a lot about him. I think I was told today that he is very similar to that of Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm interested to see what he looks like. But if he's anything like Amon-Ra St. Brown, sign me up, right? Tay times 2 times. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, comp downs to Sean, we must be watching different films, shaking my head. Yeah, I again, Sean Taylor was 6'2", 215, 220 pounds, you know, running a 4.5 40 at that size. You know, they're not the same. You know, they're not the same. Their mindset might be the same because he hits like a bigger safety. We've seen him hit guys, but you know, their body types are not the same. They are not the same player, obviously. So he may give off Sean Taylor energy, and I get what he's saying. You know what I mean? I get what he's saying about that, the energy, because I just said he'll come up and hit you like Sean would. We saw him lighting dudes up against Miami in the playoff game. And I bet you when I turn on the film and I turn on the tape, he's going to be hitting dudes as well. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, when I say Sean T energy, he got violent intensity. That's what I thought he meant. All right. Like, obviously the measurables aren't the same. And I don't know if he's a ball hawk like Sean was either. Sean he went and hunted the football. Don't know if Caleb Downs is doing that either. But he is not his equal. Sean had amazing coverage at the U. The Original Dream. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. The Original Dream writes, hopefully this stopped Philly's playoff momentum. I mean, if it did, it ain't nothing that we did. They stopped their own momentum by handling the game the way that they did, right? By resting all their starters, they basically said they poo-pooed the notion of momentum heading into the playoffs. But when you are the defending Super Bowl champions, you know what it takes to get there. You know what you need to do. And, you know, had they never been to the Super Bowl, had they never won it, maybe they handled this differently. But they won the Super Bowl last year. And they know what it takes to get back there and win it again. So in their mind, they just need to be healthy. That's what they're telling themselves. We get to the playoffs healthy, and we can take care of business. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Lou, video channel. BPA at 7 might be Jeremiah Love. It might be. As a wise man once said, I don't know. He might be. I doubt that he's BPA at 7. He could be the best player on the board at 7. If they took him, I wouldn't be mad. But again, running back is a luxury that we don't have. Like, that's a luxury pick. We are not in a position to be making a luxury selection, if that makes sense. What he could do for this offense would be tremendous. But we would be still in that. And again, I don't want to put too much emphasis on one pick, because the offseason as a whole, in its totality, is going to ultimately determine how much better this team is. One draft pick in the first round isn't going to make this defense infinitely better. But you get the right guy on defense, and it could drastically change how teams have to deal with our defense, and it'll change things that we can do. Just think of it from this perspective. And I'm not saying that any of these guys that we could get at 7 are Michael Parsons. But just think about how drastically Michael Parsons changes a way that an offense has to prepare, or the way that a defense can be deployed. Green Bay went from a Super Bowl contending team because of their defense to now they probably are one and done. No one's afraid of their defense. They're ordinary people because they don't have that dynamic cog in their defense anymore. You get the right guy defensively, and it could change some things. You take a running back, and even if you are ready to utilize him, you might still be in the same spot that you were in 2024, where the defense is basically a liability and the offense has to score and play keep away. And, you know, that's going to be the reason you win games, because your offense is converting on 4th downs, converting on 3rd downs, playing keep away, winning time of possession. You don't want to have to do that. You want this defense to be able to carry their own weight. I wouldn't be mad at Jeremiah Love, because I think the world of him. I really, truly do. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy C-Mac writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Chris? Hope all is well with you and the family. Likewise, as always, Happy New Year's to you and yours. 2 questions. 1, what are 3 positions or players that you want Peters to take in free agency, and why? 2, what non-1 seed do you think in the NFC and AFC has the best chance of making it to the Super Bowl, and why? For me, I'll answer the second question first. In the AFC, I think the team with the best chance to make it to the Super Bowl, because I don't believe in Denver. All right, so you already know that anyway. It's crazy because it's hard for me right now. I don't necessarily believe in Baltimore, but they win this game and they get in. They're dangerous. I don't believe in Buffalo, but they're dangerous. I think it's New England. Houston, and I love their defense. I don't believe in their offense. I think it might be New England. I think they got the most complete team on that side of the bracket right now. I think I go with New England. And then in the NFC, it's the Rams. Even though they weren't at their best necessarily today, they're doing this without Devontae Adams. He's going to be back for the playoffs, and they're a scary team. They're solid defensively. Their offense, when they're clicking, good luck stopping them. I like the Rams. As far as what players and positions I want Peters to take in free agency, I've made it clear that I would love to attack running back in free agency, tight end in free agency, cornerback in free agency. I've given you a list of guys. I'd even go as far as to say there are going to be some solid safeties available in free agency. And if you wanted to go that route, you could as well. There's going to be some good free agent players. at positions of need for this team, are you willing to spend the money to go out and upgrade this roster? Now, we don't know if all of these players are going to make it to free agency. That's always the thing that you have to consider. There is a franchise tag that teams could invoke, and if they decide to do that, then you don't have the option of these guys hitting free agency and spending the money to go get them. But just based off of who's available right now, and if some of these guys make it to free agency, there's going to be players that you can spend money on to upgrade your football team. And I've given you positions already. Cornerback, running back, tight end. We've talked about Isaiah Likely and Kyle Pitts at tight end. We've talked about Kenneth Walker III and Breece Hall at the running back position. We've talked about all of the corners. Josh Jobe, both of the Seattle corners. Josh Jobe is a free agent. So is somebody super chatted about him earlier. I can't think of his name right now. I don't know why his name is escaping me, but there'll be some options available. So I want him to attack free agency with vigor. I want him to attack it aggressively, and I want him to get younger. I want this team to get younger. So, we'll see what he does. Tay, 2 times. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Tay writes, Atlanta led league in sacks and interceptions. You don't like Raheem? That's wild. Yeah, I first of all, they led the league in. They did not lead the league in sacks. I don't think they were up there. I don't know if they led the league in sacks or not. I don't want to put out misinformation. They might have led the league in sacks. They were high up there in sacks. But they had talent. Like it's not like Raheem was out here scheming it up. I don't even know if he was their defensive play caller or not. Did they have a defensive play caller? Because I feel like they had a defensive play caller in Atlanta. But whatever. Let's just say he was calling the plays defensively. They had, okay, Zay. You kicking a 58-yarder with Tyler Luke? He got the leg. Do you want to kick a 58-yard field goal? Let's see what Harbaugh does. Does he try to pin them? Play defense, play the field position game. Yep, he's going to try and pin him. I don't think they led the league in interceptions either. I think you're just throwing out random stuff. Again, I could be wrong, but I know Jacksonville and Chicago had a boatload of interceptions this year. Atlanta had some interceptions. I don't think they had more than those two teams. No, I'm not a Raheem Morris guy. Like I said, Atlanta has, I don't call it elite level talent, but whatever that level is beneath elite, that's where Atlanta is. That is not what we have here in Washington. Am I sure that Raheem Morris can come in here and coach a less than stellar group and get them to where we need them to be competitive? No, I don't know that. I don't know that. I've seen Jim Schwartz do it. He hasn't had a Myles Garrett his entire career. Now, he's had some freaky players, talent-wise. Get your head out of the gutter, guys. He had Javon Curse early in his career in Tennessee. He had Myles Garrett. So he's had some elite players. Who's to say we don't draft one this year? But I've seen Jim Schwartz do a lot, not necessarily with a little, but I've seen him do some really good things with a less than stellar supporting cast. I can't say that Raheem Morris has done the same. But again, I know this, Raheem Morris, And the Falcons were one of the worst teams at getting sacks last year. They drafted 2 first-round guys this year. They drafted 2 day 2 safeties, and it changed everything for them. So they got the talent, and then he got better. So we'll see what he does. But I'm not a Raheem Morris fan. No, I'm not. GT7. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, if we resign De'Ami Brown, I swear we can do better. I wouldn't be shocked if they went, like, we need speed. I would love to go out and go get Alec Pierce. I don't think Indy's going to let him walk. And if they do, we won't be the only team interested. It'll turn into a bidding war. And is Adam Peters willing to get into a bidding war for the services of an Alec Pierce? I don't know. But we need that kind of speed. Somebody that can take the top off of a defense. Clearly, we only have one guy. And because we only have that one guy, we aren't able to push the football vertically. And it hurts us. Can we do better than De'Ami Brown? Probably. Yeah. But he's a familiar face, one that I think they might have regretted letting walk away after seeing how the season went. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Joe Rockhead writes, why does Bill never bounce it outside? He used to earlier in the season. I think they told him, get what you can get. So I think he stopped trying to bounce it outside. This group is brainless because they never get Bill on outside runs. His run against Dallas was an outside zone run. Everything for him, it seems like it's in between the tackles and it never works. They never block for him. They never get to the perimeter with his runs. They're brainless. All DQ talks about is loving Bill running in between the tackles. And I'm like, okay, guy, you clearly aren't watching the same film on Bill as we're watching, but whatever. I think they told him put his head down and get what he can get. So he's not looking to be creative like he was earlier in the season. They got pissed off at him when he was trying to do that. And not that he was always doing it the right way earlier, but I think they took his creativity from him. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wrath of God says, what if Tampa fires Todd Bowles? Would you like him as RDC? Hell yes. Hell yes. Sign me up for Todd Bowles 7 days out of the week. Yes. I will be all in on Todd Bowles. Club 100 TV, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, I'm still all in on Jay Love, running back for Notre Dame. I can't see that being the pick for the Commanders. That's a luxury pick that we don't have currently. Joe Rockhead, double up, thank you for doubling up. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, heard anything about Kedrick Falk? I haven't watched him. I've heard that he is a big 5-tech type of edge rusher, like a Dietrich Wise type. That's what I've heard. And if that's the case, I'm not interested. I'm good. Thanks, but no thanks. Big Money Sonny, been a member for 51 months. Celebrate. Who writes, looking forward, Lou. Still too old for this ish. We all thought that we wouldn't have to deal with this anymore. That these conversations, we should be talking about playoff football, not who's going to be our offensive coordinator, who are we going to draft, what the free agency pool looks like. Feels like we turned the clock back to the Snyder era this year. And I was so over it. So I get it, man. I get it. Will Diggs, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Will, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, will Raheem get another head coaching job after this? No. I think he's cooked as a head coach in the league. And he's terrible, by the way, as a head coach. So that's why the Falcons fired him. He's terrible. He doesn't know the first thing about clock management, game management. But he's a smart guy, very likable. And so you wouldn't have to worry about him getting poached if he ends up being good for you. But we'll see. He's going to land on his feet. He's so well liked around the league. He's got so many contacts. Somebody's going to give him a job. he'll be on somebody's staff, and it may be here in Washington. Who's to say? We'll see. But he'll definitely land on his feet. That's for sure. But he's not getting another head coaching job. Eric Reeves, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Eric writes, what gets me is fans are saying we will be bad next year. I can see if we were 5-12 with all of our players healthy or 90% healthy, we just can't ignore all of these injuries. Fans need to chill out. I just think this is what I talked about earlier when the losing first started and you could see where this was heading. This is the Pandora's box that opens now. Like, everything's under a microscope. And while the injuries aren't an excuse, they're a valid reason as to why this season went the way that it did. People can't help but look at every aspect of this team and they start to overanalyze things, and some of it valid, you know. DQ now under a microscope, Adam Peters under a microscope. This staff that we were so high on last year, oh my God, we put together this all-star team, and you know, all of that stuff we were talking. We're talking about replacing players or coaches and the staff. Do we need to get rid of this guy? So everything's under a microscope now. So DQ, you know, gave off some Ron Rivera vibes for some people this year. And I do think that this is abundantly clear. DQ isn't an elite coach. And maybe that was something you could see last year, but he's not an elite coach. He has flaws, and he's going to need real talent around him to overcome his deficiencies. He's not the type of coach that elevates a lesser roster. He proved that this year. He's not the best X's and O's guy, right? Which is what I think a lot of us want. So it's easy to start looking at next year and thinking, well, DQ sucks now, so we're going to suck next year. AP sucks now, so we're going to suck again next year. We'll see what the offseason holds. That's the best I can tell people. Is we'll see what the offseason holds. I'm just happy that we don't have to deal with this season any longer, watching this team play meaningless games, you know, trying to navigate all of these injuries. We can just start anew. Blank slate, start over, and let's see what we can do when we actually have all of our horses, because this shit was for the birds this year. So much for John Harbaugh punting the football and looking to pin the Steelers and get great field position. I don't know. Maybe he should have tried. And again, it's easy to say that in hindsight. If you have confidence in your kicker, maybe you try the 58-yard field goal. It would have been 59 yards. No, you got to punt that football. That's too far of a field goal, especially in Pittsburgh, where it's usually so hard to kick those long field goals. Fans have been very pessimistic this year, but I get it. And so I can't tell fans they have to chill out about this, the direction of the organization, who's in charge, any of that. They got to show, they literally have to come in here and show and prove all over again. Like I said, this year undid all of the goodwill that they built up last year. They undid it. Instead of them systematically undoing it over 2-3 years, they all of the goodwill they built up from last year's magical run, they undid it this year with how the season went. And yes, injuries had a huge say in that, but there were games there that should have been won despite the injuries. And then you can't get blown out the way that we did in a lot of these games. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wrath of God writes, word is bond. I'm from South Carolina, so I knew Man of War well. Being a Gamecock fan, I wanted him so bad. He has been outstanding this year. He has been, wow. For as good as I thought he was going to be, he has exceeded my expectations. Man, he's been so good. And he's got the right defensive coordinator / head coach coaching him too. That always helps when you got the right guy that can take your talents and maximize them, which is what I think Mike McDonald has done in Seattle with Nick Manawari. No name here today. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Caleb Downs is more Eric Berry than Shante. Yes, absolutely. I think Eric Berry was right around 6 feet tall. So yes, I would say that is a pretty accurate spot on. I like that. And Eric Berry, when early in his career, when he was healthy, beast. Tay, two times. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, watch Caden Curry from the Ohio State DN. Excuse me, Caden Curry DN from Ohio State 2. He had 12 sacks. Okay. Look, I'm gonna get to all of these dudes. I'm gonna get to all of these dudes at some point, for sure, because that's the season we in now. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, been too long, Lou. It's long, but it's never been like, it always feels like I just talked to you, bro. So it's all love. But I'm glad you're here, man. It's been a long season. I know that much. When you say it's been too long, it's been a long season. Shout out to Joe Rockhead. Great to see some OGs in the building. All my Giants friends all mad today. Salutes, Lou. Great to see you. Likewise, man. Likewise. It's always good to see a lot of the old crew hanging around, man. This season has been really tough on everyone. It's finally come to an end, and I've seen a lot of names I haven't seen since right around Halloween. So I can tell that it's safe to come back out now. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling it up. Who writes, stop it. DQ emptied the clip with his starters. Sad. Again, if that's what you think our starters look like, again, I got nothing for you. Okay. Half of our starting lineup was out of the lineup by November, and we keep losing guys. We didn't have Laramie Tunzel today. We didn't have half of the guys that we have normally starting. Jaden Daniels was not out there. Like, I don't know why I even have to explain. You're a smart guy. Like I said, you like arguing for the sake of arguing. Okay. We were far from complete as a team from a starter's perspective. Okay. Both teams were playing backup players for the most part. The only position group that was whole today was the wide receiver position. That's it. Every other position had backup players at it somewhere in the mix. So, and linebacker, I guess. And linebacker. Anyway, I digress. Metaphor, been a member for 52 months. Celebrate. After pick, glad for the dub to a healthier 2026 season. Yeah, we're not on the same page there, but I can't knock the hustle. I know there are enough fans out there that they were happy to beat the Eagles, and that's cool. I was all for beating the Eagles when Jaden Daniels was in the lineup. Even when Marcus was in there the first time around when the Eagles were struggling, I was all for beating them then too, but not tonight. Fates were sealed. Let's go ahead and get the best pick we can possibly get. But again, to each its own. I can't tell you guys how to feel. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Big Money Sonny writes, oh yeah, Lou, let me get that double up for old time's sake. For old time's sake. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Uh-oh. Flag. Okay, so now Mike Tomlin has a big decision to make. Ball is at the 1 yard line, 2 seconds left. Do you roll the dice and try to tie the game up, or do you kick the field goal? Because if this is the last play of the first half, either you get it or you don't. This could be a defining moment in the game. What does he decide to do? Big penalty on Hamilton here, back of the end zone. Peace and blessings as always, Lou. Again, great to see you, brother. Likewise. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, man. He's got the offense on the field. Now, this is when he could have tried the little tush push thing that they did earlier, because this ball is at the 1 yard line now. Let's see if they get this. Is a huge play in the game. He gonna go smash mouth and try to run it. No, sir. Oh, what a play. I hate the call. He gonna get fired tonight. I already told y'all. Mike Tomlin getting fired tonight. If they lose this game, he getting fired tonight. I think he really letting his confidence in Aaron Rodgers get to his head, because I hate that play call. You try to trick him. He getting fired tonight. Jamal Long, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jamal writes, possibly Bain, Bailey, and Downs gone at 7. I don't know. I don't think all 3 of them would be gone. I don't think all 3 of them would be gone at 7, but I wouldn't be shocked if 2 out of those 3 were gone at 7. I don't think Downs is gone at 7, so I think we're good there. CMG87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. CMG87 writes, my bad. Double up. My bad, Lou. First chat was a bit rough, but keeping Witt as the head coach / secondary feels like a DQ Atlanta move, not firing outright. I get that. Al or Schwartz. I get that him not getting rid of, but that's DQ. This is a part of his personality. It might be a fault of his, but it's who he is, and you can't change who you are. He's a loyal guy, maybe to a fault, but that's who he is. The great Watubi, been a member for 51 months. Celebrate! Who writes, Lou, which head coaches are gone tomorrow? Well, Raheem Morris is already gone right now. I have no idea who's going to get fired, because I didn't think Raheem was going to get fired. I told you, the man just won 4 in a row to finish up the season. And as disappointing as the season has been for them, finishing up at 8-9, tied for the lead in the division, but just missing out based off of the divisional record and tiebreakers, with 4 straight wins to end the season when this team could have quit on him. Look, I'm not a Raheem Morris fan. Again, let me state my position. He's a terrible head coach. Horrible with game management, time management. So I get it why they want to move on from him, but I didn't think he was getting fired. I thought he had done enough to save his job. So that means Mike McDaniel could get fired in Miami. They got blown out again today. The Bengals lost. Zach Taylor, they could finally say enough is enough with him. Kevin Stefanski won. That feels like a big win, but they could say, that's cool, but we've had enough of you two. He can go. Like, there's a number of coaches that could end up fired based off of what we've seen. So it's hard to say. Really hard to say. No name here today. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, with the GM and Raheem gone, maybe Kyle Pitts. Maybe. That's a great point. That is a really good point. Pitts, the new GM may not value Kyle Pitts the way that the last group did, and they may let Kyle Pitts walk now. So yeah, that's something to factor in. I think that's a really good point. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. GT7 writes, Louie, I hear you about Diami's speed, but that seems like a luxury, especially since Luke had 2 more touchdowns and 20 less yards. But we just know what Diami brings to the table. Luke is not a real vertical threat. We're not going to act like he is. So we know what Diami did for us last year. And we know the relationship he and Jaden have on the field, off the field, etc. So I wouldn't be opposed to him coming back. We'll see what they do. They may not want Diami back. That may be just us talking. That might not be them talking, right? Will Diggs, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Will Diggs, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, if Jake Moody doesn't work out, would you take a flyer on Justin Tucker? No, they're not going to sign Justin Tucker. They already went down that road one time and it backfired on them with Brandon McManus. They're not going down that road again. So let's hope Jake Moody works out. I know he missed a 24-yarder, but he also hit a 56-yarder, which was way more impressive. The make from 56 was way more impressive than the 24-yard miss was disappointing. Now, had we been good, had the Eagles been trying and we wanted to actively win this game, that would have pissed me off. But that 56-yarder was pretty damn impressive, to say the least. Haven't had too many kickers here that were capable of banging it home from 56 yards. So they got the schedule. We'll talk about this a little bit later on tonight, but they got the schedule for a wild card weekend already set. Okay. All right. We'll talk about that on the overtime show. Kevin the PRF, been a member for 44 months. Salute. Look at Jacksonville getting the AFC South out of the first 4:30 window on Saturday afternoon window. Look at Jacksonville coming up in the world. It says 1 early and 2 lost spots to teams not taking a DN. So let's take a look at the 1 early soup. Appreciate you, as always. CGM 87, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, if Scott McLuhan's drunken beer Google floozy is right about Cliff, better not be Brian Johnson. Better not be Brian Johnson at OC. Also can see DQ making cross-eyed Joe assistant head coach / second. That's the super chat you were talking about, CGM 87. Yeah, you was out of pocket. But I think I don't see Joe Witt going anywhere. I think he could be in control of the secondary. I wouldn't be shocked if he made him the secondary's coach. I've already predicted that, as a matter of fact. I don't know if I don't think Brian Johnson's getting promoted to OC, but again, this is somebody asked me earlier, what is my biggest concern? That right there is my biggest concern. The unknown. I don't know anything. I'm in the dark. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. But I'm just not used to being this like, okay, what the hell are we going to do? I usually have some sort of idea, some sort of direction. I can draw my own inferences. I have nothing. I just got to wait and see. I can suggest what I want to see them do, but I can't actually know what they're going to do. I'm not sure they actually know what they're going to do. So anyway, I digress. Terry Fontenot and Raheem Morris relieved of their duties. They are the first of what is going to probably be many casualties on Black Monday. We're starting early, as we often do. We'll see what other teams decide to do. But I don't think the Commanders will be in this conversation. I don't think they're moving on from Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think they're doing anything. We'll see if they decide to hire a new defensive coordinator or not. But I don't think we're going to be tied up in all of these discussions. That is my opinion. But again, we'll see. I'll be back at the end of this game. It's a big one. Ravens up 10-3 at the half over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think the Ravens are going to win. The Steelers have had their chances in this game. They haven't taken advantage of opportunities. Ravens have had some opportunities. They haven't taken advantage of their opportunities. We're going to see who outlasts who. Feels like the Ravens are going to be able to do that. But whatever happens, we will be back later to break it all down. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I don't care. I still wanted the dub smoking that Newport pack. And you got it. I wasn't overly concerned about the win as much as I wanted the draft pick. But as I said earlier, to each its own. We won the game. Hope you guys are happy. That's all I got for you. In any event, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. Until next time, I'm your man Louie T. Signing off. We got one more episode of Commanders Nightly News, and that'll be on Monday to wrap this thing up officially. And then we're back to the offseason in all of its splendor. Are you ready? Anyway, you guys enjoy the rest of the Sunday Night Football contest, and I will see you at its conclusion. God bless. Good night. It's finally over, guys. We made it to the finish line. Thank God.